On a windswept beach of the remote Scottish village of Portmoray, nestled among the jagged rocks, lies the body of a young woman, her lifeless hand clutching a serpent's tooth amulet. The amulet, carved from a strange dark stone, pulses with a faint inner light. Found by old Angus, the local fisherman, its inscription, etched in an ancient Gaelic script, reads, "The tide returns, midnight's toll." As he pockets it, a shadowy, kelp-draped figure emerges from the churning sea, its eyes fixated on the amulet. The village whispers a single, haunting name, Isla. The discovery. The amulet's discovery shatters the uneasy peace of Portmoray, reopening a decades-old wound. The vanishing of Isla, a young woman who disappeared without a trace 20 years prior. Inspector Alistair McGregor, a fresh-faced constable at the time, is still haunted by the unsolved case, his first major failure. Now the serpent's tooth amulet, confirmed as Isla's through a faded photograph in the local archives, surfaces, a spectral echo from the past. The inscription, once dismissed as an old wives' tale, now sends a chill down Alistair's spine, a premonition he can't ignore. The investigation. Alistair retrieves the old case file, long relegated to the dusty backroom of the station. A sketch catches his eye. A serpentine symbol, almost identical to the one carved on the amulet, etched into a nearby cliff face overlooking the treacherous Black Cove. He revisits the site, the wind howling a mournful dirge around him. There, concealed behind a curtain of cascading water, he discovers the entrance to a hidden sea cave. A sense of profound unease washes over him, a feeling that he's stumbled upon something far more sinister than a simple missing person case. This was no ordinary disappearance. Isla's abandoned cottage, perched precariously on the edge of a cliff, yields more unsettling clues. A hidden compartment beneath the floorboards reveals a leather-bound journal. Its pages, filled with Isla's elegant script, detail a terrifying secret. A local coven, their existence whispered about in hushed tones but never proven, dedicated to a malevolent sea deity known as the CSG. Their rituals, tied to the serpent's tooth amulet and the hidden cave, are performed to appease the entity, which they believe grants them power, longevity, and dominion over the sea. The final entry, dated the day before Isla vanished, is a desperate plea, scrawled in a trembling hand. "They're coming for me. The tide is high. The serpent awakens." Twist number 1. The true nature of the siege. Further entries in the journal reveal that the siege is not just a deity, but a creature of immense power imprisoned long ago beneath the waves. The coven's rituals are not meant to appease it, but to weaken the seals that hold it captive. The amulet is the key to its release. This adds a layer of cosmic horror to the story. It is not a benevolent god, but something ancient and evil. The investigation continues. Armed with this chilling knowledge, Alistair delves deeper into the village's history, poring over old parish records and local legends. He learns that the coven's roots stretch back centuries, their influence woven into the very fabric of Portmoray. He uncovers a pattern of disappearances, each occurring during the highest tides of the year, each victim connected in some way to the sea. Alistair seeks out the village elder, Elspeth McIntyre, a woman steeped in local lore and rumored to possess second sight. Elspeth, her eyes clouded with a knowing sadness, confirms Alistair's fears. She speaks of the coven's power, their ability to manipulate the tides and the weather, and their ruthless dedication to their dark purpose. She warns him that the amulet is a conduit to the CSG's power, and that its return signifies a turning point. "The serpent stirs," she whispers, "and the sea will claim its due." The confrontation. As the highest tide of the year approaches, a palpable tension grips Portmoray. The sea grows wild, the wind howls, and the villagers lock their doors, their faces etched with fear. Alistair, guided by the journal and Elspeth's warnings, races to the sea cave. The serpent's tooth amulet pulsing faintly in his pocket, a physical manifestation of the growing dread. He finds the cave transformed. Torches flicker, casting eerie shadows on the damp walls. A group of robed figures, their faces obscured by deep cowls, are gathered around a natural stone altar at the cave's center. They are performing a ritual, their chanting echoing through the cavern, a discordant symphony of dread. In the center of the altar lies the serpent's tooth amulet, bathed in an unnatural, pulsating light. A figure steps forward, lowering their hood. It's Fiona, Alistair's former partner, presumed drowned 5 years ago during a storm at sea. A gasp escapes Alistair's lips. Fiona, her eyes now glowing with an eerie, cold light, explains the Coven's goal: to unleash the Seesji upon the world, believing it will grant them ultimate power. She reveals that she had infiltrated the Coven, seeking to expose them, but they discovered her true identity. They performed a ritual, not to kill her, but to bind her to their will, making her a vessel for the Seesji's power. She had feigned her death with the help of a few villagers, knowing it was only a matter of time until the Seesk would rise. She hid the amulet, the key to the creature's prison, hoping someone would find it and understand its significance before it was too late. The revelation Fiona, her voice now laced with a chilling resonance, reveals a shocking truth. She is not entirely under the Coven's control. The ritual that bound her also awakened a part of her that remembers her past, her loyalty to Alistair, and her desire to stop the Coven. She explains that the amulet's inscription isn't just a threat, but a timer. At the stroke of midnight, during the peak of the highest tide, the ritual can be reversed, not only freeing the trapped souls, including Isla's, but also resealing the Seesji within its watery prison. Fiona had manipulated events, leaving a trail of clues for Alistair to follow, knowing his unwavering dedication to justice would lead him to the truth. She had known that he was the only one who could help her. The robed figure lunges, not for Alistair but for the amulet, to reverse the ritual and free them all from the Seesji. A struggle ensues, a desperate battle against time and the encroaching darkness. Twist number 2. Alistair's heritage as Fiona and the Coven member wrestle for the amulet. The leader of the Coven, revealed to be Elspeth, steps forward. She reveals a hidden truth. Alistair is a descendant of the original line that imprisoned the Seesker. His blood carries the power to permanently seal the creature away. This is why he was drawn to the case, why he felt the pull of the amulet. He is not just an Bahir investigator, he's a key player in this ancient drama. The climax. The storm rages outside, mirroring the turmoil within the cave. The tide crashes against the rocks, the sound deafening. As the church bell begins to toll midnight, signaling the peak of the tide, Alistair realizes his role in this ancient ritual. He must choose a side. He can help Fiona to stop them or fulfill his destiny. He remembers the innocent lives lost and makes his decision. He manages to wrest the amulet from the Coven members' grasp. Fiona, weakened but resolute, begins to chant, an ancient incantation, her voice rising above the din. Elspeth, enraged, unleashes a torrent of dark energy, but Alistair, guided by an instinctive knowledge he never knew he possessed, uses the amulet to deflect the attack. The amulet glows. With an intense white light, Isla's spectral form flickers, then solidifies. She's free but disoriented and weak. Other spectral figures begin to appear, the souls of those taken by the Coven over the years. The Coven members, their power waning, recoil in horror. Elspeth, in a final act of desperation, lunges at Alistair, but Fiona intercepts her, plunging a hidden blade into the elder's heart. The Coven leader collapses, her body dissolving into dust, her reign of terror finally over. In the chaos, the serpent's tooth amulet falls from Alistair's grasp, landing on the stone altar. As the final stroke of midnight echoes, the amulet cracks, then shatters into 1,000 pieces. The cave trembles violently. A blinding light erupts from the altar, followed by a deafening roar. The sea, as if guided by an unseen force, rushes into the cave, engulfing the altar and sweeping away the remnants of the Coven's dark ritual. Alistair, Fiona, and Isla scramble out of the cave just as it collapses, sealing the entrance forever. They watch as the raging sea gradually calms, the storm subsiding as quickly as it began. The trapped souls, now freed, ascend towards the heavens, their forms shimmering in the moonlight before fading away. Isla, finally free after 20 years, is reunited with her aging parents, a bittersweet reunion filled with tears of joy and sorrow. The surviving villagers of Port Moray, released from the Coven's grip, begin to rebuild their lives. The memory of the dark times a constant reminder of the evil that lurks beneath the surface. Fiona, her connection to the Seasg severed, is finally at peace. She decides to leave Port Moray, seeking to atone for her past actions but not before sharing a heartfelt goodbye with Alistair. Their bond forged in the crucible of shared danger and a fight for a common cause. Alistair, forever changed by his experience, remains in Port Moray, a guardian against the darkness. He knows that the Seasg may be imprisoned, but the forces of evil are never truly vanquished. He keeps a single unpowered shard of the serpent's tooth amulet, a memento of his victory and a reminder of the constant vigilance required to keep the shadows at bay. As the camera pans out from the tranquil shores of Port Moray, now bathed in the soft morning light, it focuses on the turbulent depths of the ocean. Far below the surface, in the inky blackness, a single malevolent eye opens, a faint green glow emanating from its depths. A clawed hand reaches out from the darkness, clutching a small dark object, a piece of the shattered serpent's tooth. Amulet pulsing with a faint residual energy. The serpent may be contained, but it is not destroyed. The cycle, it seems, may one day begin again. This version adds more depth to the lore, provides a personal stake for Alistair, and delivers a more satisfying, albeit slightly ominous, conclusion. The character count is closer to the requested limit while maintaining the core narrative and enhancing the suspense and engagement.